Social Security just reported a 4.3% return on between $2.5 and $2.7 trillion in fiscal year 2025, when realistically it easily could have been 14.4% according to this article right here, which I will pop up in just a second so you can see and read for yourself exactly what they're saying right here. But that's a huge difference. Nearly a 10% difference in between what they actually received as the return of 4.3% and what they easily could have received if they would have done it the right way. Now, you might be thinking, well, what does this actually mean for me and my monthly benefit? I can tell you this much, it actually has a lot to do with your money, because at the end of the day, this is your money that Social Security is managing and ultimately paying to you in the form of monthly stipends, monthly benefit checks deposited into your bank account literally every single month for the rest of your life if you are on Social Security. So when you see numbers like this that are highlighted in this article right here, it's actually very important to take note of this, because we know that as of right now, in about 6 years, 6.5, maybe 7 years if we're lucky or so, we're dealing with this insolvency situation. Now, that's not the whole focus of this video, but the point being is that what they do right now and what they talk about here actually plays a major role in your monthly benefits for the long term, and again, the rest of your life, which is actually a huge deal. And we also recognize as well that they need to do something to Social Security. If they don't do something to Social Security within the next handful of years here, we're going to be in a way worse off type of situation. So again, this is all very important. Ultimately, it's your money at the end of the day. Anyway, let's pop this article up right here, right now. Feel free to read through the details about this, but here's what it's talking about. Social Security reported a 4.3% return on the $2.5 to $2.7 trillion in the trust fund in fiscal year 2025. Now, that translates into about $67 billion of interest payments on the money in the trust fund, which to you and me, $67 billion in interest would be like, wow, this is amazing, life is really good. But when we're talking about $2.5 to $2.7 trillion, that's a terrible return. 4.3%. You could have gotten that on a savings account in 2025. That's really bad. Point being is this. How much was inflation in 2025? I think we all recognize inflation in 2025 was way more than 4.3%, right? So technically, the money within the trust fund was depleting by maybe 1, 2, 3%, depending on how much more inflation was higher than the return on the money in the trust fund. So therefore, the money in the trust fund was actually depleting probably by about 1 to 2 to 3%, depending on how much more inflation was over the return here. So point being is that this money, although it returned a 4.3% return, actually lost money in the trust fund because it was improperly invested in bonds, right? So that's where they put the money within the Social Security Trust Fund. It's basically invested in the United States government through bonds, right? So it gets this little yield on the bond. So that's actually not a very good situation. Well, this report here, again from MarketWatch, they actually found that if the money was actually invested properly, again, across a basket of equities and bonds and different, like S&P, whatever, again, just properly invested into the market, which it legally cannot do, but there is some discussion to do that, where they've been talking about implementing a $1.5 trillion investment into basically the open markets on the behalf of Social Security. That, according to this article here, would have returned about 14.4%. This whole insolvency issue that we're dealing with within Social Security in just a matter of years here, and again, I know this may be an unpopular thing to say, but realistically, if they would just properly invest this money, again, there's a variety of different ways that they could do it, but if they invested it a little bit differently, we would actually see proper returns in the trust fund, and we would not have this insolvency issue. 14.4% on $2.5 to $2.7 trillion. I should have calculated the numbers before I started this video. That would be a lot of money. I mean, we would be talking about hundreds of billions of dollars of hundreds of billion. We'd be talking like, I'm trying to figure out the math here as I talk right now. It's like $300+ billion, if my math is right on that. Again, it's not an exact number, but it'd be over $300 billion of a 14.4% return on that money. That's like enough for like 2.5 months worth of benefits to go out to beneficiaries. Remember, Social Security sends out about $120 billion a month to beneficiaries right now, in the form of benefits. $120 billion a month that goes out to beneficiaries. Say $300+ billion just on the money in the trust fund on that $2.5 to $2.7 trillion. We'd be seeing a yield again, if it was getting a 14% yield on that, over $300 billion. That'd be like 2.5 months worth or more, maybe even 3 months worth of benefits that go out just on the investment of that money. That's a big deal. Now, the reason we want to watch this very closely is because out of all the proposals that are out there to reform Social Security and do all these random things that they want to do, like raising the full retirement age, which honestly would be really bad for a lot of beneficiaries because it would push the goalposts out further and basically make it harder for beneficiaries to get their full benefit. And when they want to go and claim their benefit, ultimately the goalpost would be pushed out further. Therefore, they would see a further reduction to their benefit if they wanted to claim a little bit early, right? You know the penalty for claiming early. It's about 6% per year is how much beneficiaries are paying as a penalty. It's about 0.5% per month, and it's about a 6% reduction per year. And again, I'm rounding a little bit here for easy purposes, but that's about what it is per year of a reduction. So this whole idea of pushing the full retirement age out, although very unpopular, it's also a very realistic approach of how they're going to likely reform Social Security over the coming years here to make sure that it has money in the trust fund to pay out to the beneficiaries in its entirety and not see a between 19 and 24% cut to benefits within the relatively near future, because that's what the program is currently looking like. And that's not popular at all. There's a lot of people that are very, very, very upset about that. But that is unfortunately one of the ways that they're thinking about reforming the program. But again, this is very important because if the money were invested differently in the trust fund, and again, they legally cannot do that right now, but there's a lot of talk about peeling off $1.5 trillion and investing it into the free markets, again, like the stock market, bonds, whatever, this assortment, this basket of assortments of investments, aside from what they're doing right now, to yield a better return on that money, okay? Now, if they would have done this like 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, there would never be this insolvency issue that we're talking about. It wouldn't be a thing. Reason being is, have the markets gone up? In the last 30 years, have they gone up like a lot? Yeah, exactly, right? So that money would have been multiplying. It would have been like its own printing press, like multiplying itself time and time again. It would have been just throwing off tons and tons of money. There would be no insolvency issue at all, at least for the foreseeable future. We wouldn't be dealing with this in about 6 years, okay? Anyway, point being is that one of the major proposals out there is, again, to allow the Social Security Trust Fund to be invested into public markets. I'd love to hear from you down below in the comment section. And again, this is just one of those that's out there. One of the plans, I should say, one of the ideas that's out there. It's a very unpopular thing, and I know that a lot of you in this community probably don't love this idea. And again, I'm not saying that it's a good or the best idea at all. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm saying that this is a feasible approach, and we do have an administration that is there right now that is very much open to the free markets. We know that very clearly. We know that the president is very much focused on the stock market. I mean, he makes it very clear all the time, right? He's talking about all these things like, oh, inflation's down, the market's up, and it's like, yeah, the market's up, but is inflation really down? I don't know. I think that's yet to be argued a little bit more, right? So anyway, I'd love to hear from you down below. What do you think about this? And would love to read your comments. Otherwise, as always, in 2026, anytime throughout the year, if you're one of the 70 million people on Medicare, if you have questions about Medicare, if you need help getting enrolled in Medicare, if you need help finding the best Medicare coverages for you and your personal needs, the best free one-stop shop is, well, you know what I'm about to say. Yeah, right here. The phone number for chapter right there. Call them. They are absolutely helpful for so many of you in this community. Again, thousands and thousands. I mean, like multiple. Like we're pushing nearly 10,000 people in this community alone that has called that phone number right there. Collectively, those of you in this community saving multiple millions of dollars. Again, after calling chapter right there with that phone number, which is absolutely incredible. That is a lot of money that is staying in your pocket of just those of you in this community because you took the time to grab your Medicare card, grab your phone, and call chapter right there to get your questions answered, to get help with your initial enrollment into Medicare, to make sure that you are properly covered by finding that proper Medicare plan, whatever it happens to be. Again, anything Medicare related, that is your best one-stop shop. And again, it is totally free. And you can join the other thousands of people in this community that have already made that call. Anyway, after you talk to them, drop a comment down below, use the word chapter, let me know how it goes, and I'd love to give you a shout out in a future video, and also add your name to this very long ongoing list here. This is literally a stack of paper here. There's multiple pages here of all these comments I've been receiving just in the last couple months here. This is just in the last like 2 months of the comments I've peeled out of the comment section. By the way, there's like 7 or 8 pages right there that I sold up. Obviously, I just showed you the first one. But anyway, those are all the comments that I've taken out of the comment section just in the last couple months from people in the community that have called chapter, again, there, to get free help with their Medicare and are very, very happy. So anyway, drop a comment down below after you do. Use the word chapter. Let me know how it goes. I'll add your comment to this very long list here and again, feature you in an upcoming video. Anyway, I know it's extremely helpful for you. Again, I've seen all the comments. It's incredible how much money people are saving and how much help they are getting completely for free. All right, anyway. Let me know what you think about this idea as far as the investment of your money within Social Security into the public markets. Do you like it or don't you like it? I know that some people out there definitely do not like that idea, and that's okay. That's totally fine. If you don't like it, that's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever, but I'd love to hear your comments. Anyway, I hope this helps you. Please subscribe if you're new here, if you've not done so. Again, please consider subscribing. Please share the video. Big share button down below. Otherwise, check out the other 6,000 plus videos here on the channel in the video library. Until next time, please have a nice day. Again, give chapter a call right there. See what they can do for you. The average person is saving over $1,000 of average savings, the people that are calling in this community. Absolutely incredible. Enjoy your day. Have a good one, and I'll catch you again later in the next video.